interest about ratepayers and how we keep those ever spiralling costs down.
I think it's
Kia
great.
ora koutou,
So,
Nandamai, and
yeah,
welcome
it's completely
to
separate to the
first
mine
meeting
consent.
of the Cromwell
As the
Community
landowner,
Board
we have that opportunity to
2026.
negotiate an access agreement.
We
I
will
think it's a
start
really
with
big
Frank
win for
here,
our
and I
community
invite
that
Mike to be
council
the
will
person
receive that
who
money.
gives
Santana
that here this morning.
will,
This
that
afternoon,
comes
sorry.
to us
There
and
you
we make
Yeah,
choices on where that goes, and it won't be the frilly stuff, and it won't be anything fluffy, most likely. It will be the nuts and bolts of keeping the space affordable for the extra people, the extra.
Terrace Cromwell was in the whole district.
It'll be districts at large on it, speaking as so probably big categories.
We have no apologies of our elected members at this meeting. We do have one from the entertainment, however,
so to have
who is
that,
unable to attend with us today.
So it was, there was a lot.
We move to our public forum,
council
and I'd like to welcome Lisa,
members,
first of all, to talk
please
about the
results.
use of Sandflat Road. Space.
And fun stuff,
PowerPoint
went to the cherry festival, watched people spit cherries on them, things I tell my children off for doing all summer long. We went and celebrated other people doing it and getting trophies for it, and nice. And the Wyndham Harness races, both wonderful events, drawing great crowds, cheap family entertainment, and amazing things.
Are you able to start speaking? And Sarah will do that for you. Yeah.
And Rebecca and I attended the Terrace group meeting, so it's really good to get in there.
System's not been playing very nicely.
See what's going on the terrace. They are really passionate, proactive group of people up there. Great community. Also knowing how to carry on with that. And that was December.
We are here because we started a petition for Sandflat
And my
Road.
report is a lot more
For
bland.
drug community
Literally close my eyes, go to
stalls,
sleep tonight, and I can see
we've
cherry
had
on
over
that
600 signatures
islands.
so far.
So we've just
we
finished
wanted
finishing up
to
Harvest Farm on
speak on
Sunday,
behalf
and
of
I'll be putting back into it.
That
The things that I have been working quite closely on is the solar farm concept.
So basically,
And
what's
we now have
happening
a
is
spreadsheet
we're
that
at
I
risk of
am currently
losing
working through,
two
which I'll be
of our
forwarding
off-leaf
through very
exercise
soon.
areas at the same
And
flat
my
road
team will be
lines due
getting
to
back to
the
David
forestry
on some
harvest
proposed dates that
and
we
potential
could
solar
do
development.
a workshop
So
with everyone
without
around exactly what
replacement,
this is
how
going
long
to entail
resident
and
will
the
be
advantages and
left without
disadvantages
safe
of how we set that up
option.
around either revenue for council, potential rates reductions
I
for
just put
Cromwell,
together
since
a
it's endowment
couple
land, or
maps if you
potentially
go to
power bill reductions for Cromwell. If we set up a separate CCO, so those are all options that I think could be on the table
So just using the council's chair,
there,
which is
which
scale of the
yeah, which is super
areas that we are
exciting. And then one thing I'm sure is going to perk Peter's ears up is as of yesterday, so very, very recent, there is about the public debate between Shane Jones and Sir Ian Taylor. And I spoken.
Obviously there's two
really place to have a public debate like that and our new conflict by the lake. So I would like the central entire, I know it will be before opening date that will need to happen. Can we pick a date?
And then you can see how the streets area tables in comparison.
With Sarah Taylor, so I think that is possible, and also you mentioned Jones in a couple of weeks, so that is an option as well. So I'd love to bring that to the table and be a good chance to attract everyone from Monaco, Queenstown and Terrace and Cromwell and wherever else in Central Otago, and bring them all together and actually hear two rather opinionated elder gentlemen go at it over the line. It would be great to take for all, I'm sure.
Out of the
that's
yellow markings on the council's website. So most people would set the park their vehicle on that road, and then use that triangle almost.
Not a
Probably
great
more than the rest of the areas.
from it Tiger Orange is
So
volunteer.
to preserve
So
the
the roundabout
value
meeting,
of that area,
the
you
first
would
of December, and
have
actually
to
it was
retain
narrowly my
very
brain.
little
Was
of
that on
that
through
piece
social media?
there.
Great turnout.
That's the
And
key
actually
one.
what was really nice was the
Yeah.
coffee and chat with community forage
A lot of
afterwards.
people park where it
Just those
says
connections of,
dog walking.
yeah, that was really cool.
Area.
Terrace Hall community meeting.
At the very
That was
start,
like
right next to
days
the
after being
fence
back in that
line.
hall. I was up there at the play
And-
centre, anyway.
Yeah, that's where I see
And
most
connecting
people
with some of the locals that are, no, it was really, yeah. And they're a really cool, passionate community.
You want to talk on.
Then I also arranged
Oh,
a
yeah,
tour of
you can
the
just go to the
lake
table
for
and
this
come
weekend.
slide. Please,
School, DP and two of the junior
just
teachers.
quantify
Engaged,
the
yes.
size of the area
And that
as
was-
you go to the next one, please.
Yeah, was really cool, really cool.
Essentially, it
And then
means
just last weekend, it was the South Island Club Road Champs, and that was like a mini Mardi on
nearly
steroids over 3
98%
days.
of the market
That was, yeah,
off-leash
great.
dog walking areas are gone.
Back into school.
Which
Here we
means
go.
those owners that want to exercise their dogs off leash safely need to go to those other 2 areas, Dustin Park, which is obviously a piece of more in the town. I
There's plans to be
never knew that when we
Speedway
started
in
this
the last
process, a
2
lot of
months. I
the
got
people who
two
had never heard of this area. And then obviously
got
out
called off through the low numbers.
which as Lisa will speak to has a few key.
But yeah, it's good crowds.
Yeah, so
over New
Apple
Year's.
Street
the
was a
Speedway,
purple dog park a few years
went to the
ago,
Cherry
obviously
Spitting.
never got fenced.
For the first time, actually, I hadn't made it there in the past, so.
It's
now I know
not
it's
keeping up with
Then I
the
started
size of the
practicing
town's growth, however, there's a lot of,
Town and Country Pub Pushing
there,
Comp on the
obviously it's right
2nd of
next to the
January, had a good
road,
turnout.
and the bike track and the
We
playground,
got
and
six,
our dogs
six
are allowed on
perch
the
and 4
playground, our
trout.
dogs are allowed on the bike track,
Notably,
and
the
obviously
perch
we don't
used to
want
be around the
dogs on
smaller
road.
radius around Logan, but
So
right through
that
the lake
leaves
now.
us with, a
Went for
situation where
week
dogs are
camping in
animals and they're not
Geraldine,
going to
which was
stay
good to get
in
out
that
of the district
confined
for a week,
space, and there's
but
many
just for a bit of a
incidents
refresh.
with bikers,
With
with
the
the
long-term
community
plan
in
from the
general,
kids,
with
with the
visitors,
coffee
with
table on the way through.
holiday goers, with
Read
kids
some
on the
town hall
playground,
history and whatnot.
etc.
Geraldine
It's also
and
not properly shaded, so
water
obviously
rights
it's so
seem
hot
expensive,
during summer
reading
and
some other
summer.
councils, but anyway.
And it not being shaded is a huge problem
Just last
for
weekend, went to
our
Institute
animals
Death
and
Islands
dogs.
on Sunday, which was
being-
really
just
good
being
crowd
able
as well,
to-
probably.
They can't regulate the
1,000, I
volume,
reckon,
sure,
on
so,
the bank at one point.
the water not being
Had a
included
few big
with
shifts
Apple
and a couple
Street
little ones at the roundabouts in December,
is
so the community got them pretty
is
well
a
tidied up by
problem.
Christmas, which was really
And
good.
it also,
Good,
the
it was a good
smallness
social
of the
experiment,
space
to
really is
get out of their lounge
a
rooms
problem for dogs who,
do some
and
good,
owners
and there was a
who
lot of good done.
are,
and
have a
there's certainly
reactive
more
dog,
that could
so
be
a lot
done,
of
if we
people
could just
that.
keep some momentum going.
Have a reactive dog that doesn't mean they're aggressive, it doesn't mean
Because, yeah,
that they
Yeah,
can't be around
made a
other
3-dayer
dogs or
off
they
the,
need space, so being at Sand Flat Road, having all
Best
that space
Cars
to
and
walk
Hot Rod
away
Festival,
from
so
the
we
dog, it's not
saw
all
the
about
Friday night
socialization, it's actually just about
which was shown on
exercising
Saturday and then
your own dog
went to the swap
safely
meet on
and
the
for what's
Sunday.
safe for them, so another thing that caught my attention the other day was.
And yeah, just out
I
in
have
the
no
community, there's
idea.
been plenty of
This is
discussion
what
obviously on the
council
name of the new
asked,
community facility, which we've
asked for
got
during
wheels in
departure,
motion
but
for now, which is nice.
is for everyone to park in that space, which
But
then
yeah, I think
is very
probably the highlights would be
contradicting
that
for
watching
dog
everyone get out
owners
to the
who are
roundabout side, I
being told to go
seriously
there
think there's
to
probably about
exercise their dog off leash,
130
but then if there's
playgrounds
car
got put
parking
into
there as
that,
well,
so the
then
commercial rates
it's not safe.
equivalent, bloody expensive.
See that,
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, just make sure next time it's not for the cherry season. Nice.
So
I think
Dustin
there will be
Park and
discussion
Peas and
coming up
Wings was
about
the
whether,
other
well,
suggestion.
implications of getting it
I've
on the
never heard of
council
this, but
register,
I believe it is a
whether
family
that includes
playground,
long-term plan
which is
funding,
also
but
a
maybe a
problem.
discussion
and
we have to
it's-
have.
Yeah, next to the playground. It's also
But,
too small and it's also out of town.
You
And
have to
I
wait
had,
for a little
I
bit
did a
of, or
survey,
ignore some bureaucracy to get that
along with
job done.
this for the community to answer
There is a
questions,
real rub,
and a lot of people said that
with
they've never
doing
heard of it, never
Uh,
used it, and they will
personally,
not go
I was
there because
comfortable
it's
with
out of town. It's-
personally not happy watching everyone else in the same situation. So,
So
yeah, the discussion's not over
again,
yet,
with the
it's good to
shades.
get the job done. And we'll see what comes.
It's funny. Sorry, there's
So again,
something
with the
just said,
shades,
said 2 compliments on the tidy up the mall, the green.
Having the trees keeps us sheltered, keeps our dogs sheltered in the summer. It is really, really hot today, and if you were to go out the street, your dog would be overheated and.
Right,
you
yeah,
might be
moving
too.
second for.
They also,
News reports.
barley grass is a
Yep.
huge issue for dogs, and we've seen,
That's here.
what happens when the dog gets barley grass. It's
Thank you,
nasty, and there
and
is
then,
one at the
the
farm,
governance
which is
report,
another
and Jean, I
huge
believe you,
one for the area.
no, Maria, you are going, not, can't read my own,
Jen might do this one.
no, Maria. Come and introduce the
No, the
Otago Play
original
Innovation.
story,
Week.
but anecdotally, we've been told those trees were
Oh,
planted
absolutely.
with dust management.
Sorry. So the
And
piece
then
of
it
paper
seems
still
as though
gets the
the
name.
Sandflat area that
It's
one we
okay.
identified as being about due to
Kia ora
convenience.
koutou. Today I am
We may
updating
as
you
well.
on Central Otago's
Some
Play
problem at the same
Innovation Week.
time.
And to explain what that is, I really need to bring you back to a project that some of you will be familiar with, although you're in this room or not, so I'll bring you up to speed a little bit.
Yeah, so
Since
again, with
I last wrote
the survey that I
on this project,
did,
we've had some new members
go to the
join,
next
so
slide,
Mike
these are
and
some of the
Rebecca.
results, so
This
what
is the first
people
time I
have
presented
asked
to you and
for
on this market, so it's nice to meet you.
um,
This project has been underway for quite some time. We first brought it to the boards and
just away
council
from
at
the
the start of
roads,
last
having
year,
a
and
shade and
since then we've
shelter,
been
being
providing
away
regular
from cycling
updates.
routes and being
Roughly
like
every 4 months as the work has progressed.
So I've got 15 hectares
Traditionally,
for
councils have provided play
and
opportunities.
like
Their assets like
that.
playgrounds,
I
skate
think
parks,
the scale
fun
and
parks,
size
facilities.
way bigger than
But
that.
we have recognised that we've never had a
And also
clear
easy
play
access
strategy.
for
We've
Cromwell
never had a
residents
clear
and then other
a
things that we're
district-wide
showing
strategy
under
for
for
how we
being
plan
livestock.
or prioritise
Being
how
able to
we
walk
think
with
about
your
our play
dog
assets
and
over
have
a long period
minimal
of time.
contact with
So this project is
playgrounds
about
or
giving
sports
council a
users,
stronger
et cetera.
framework to guide future decisions around these
And
spaces
then
and
these are just some
investments,
quotes from
making sure that we're planning
people in the
consistently
community, so
and with good information.
not me.
Next slide, please.
Yeah, I don't know if any of these people are here, but
We've talked about
we walk our
micro
dogs daily
over the
there,
last
and
year,
honestly,
and
we
while
have a lot
it's
of we
often
lose
seen
some
as
space
central,
and
as a
space
central
not
government
provided.
responsibility, this is
Just
also
all walking
very
areas in the
relevant to
central
local
part of my
government.
experience in
Play
Cromwell,
spaces are some of the
provide
most
shade,
visible
shelter
and
from
well-used
weather.
community assets
Even the
that we
best trained
provide.
dogs can be
And just to
unpredictable,
give
the
you a little
natural
bit of a
chase bird
taster,
can put
these are the
harm,
things they influence.
cause harm to all.
How welcoming
And
and
it would be cruel and
livable our
dangerous to
towns
confine
feel.
them to such a
Whether
small area
families
like
choose to
ours.
stay and settle here, how we can use
So
public space,
basically what
and
we,
community
go to the
connection
next
by
slide,
budget.
just what we're asking for.
a
is
well-designed
to
play
pause the
environment is
removal
going
of
to support
sand platform
independence,
off each
confidence,
area,
and social
even
skills in young
a
people,
small area of
which has
it.
a flow-on effect for our community's
Until a safe
well-being,
local
safety, and
alternative is
participation.
confirmed.
So
And
this is
to
actually
work
about
with
quality,
residents to
relevance,
identify
and
a good
long-term
area for
value
this.
of the community spaces that this council
We
is
also know that I
responsible
don't
for.
know if the power poles
Next slide,
are gonna
So,
stay. I
what we've done
suspect
so
that they
far,
will. I don't know.
Because this is their first
But that
strategy,
area
what we did was we started
next
by
to the
listening, and we
trees,
went really
if it
big
just
in this
has
area.
the power
We
poles
listened,
and
we
the
didn't
trees next
assume.
to it. That's a bit
You'll
of a
all be
loop and
really
that
familiar with this, but we carried out a
dogs
district-wide survey
and the people that
through
go
our
there
play
and things.
challenges at over 40 sites, so a little
As
QR
far
code
as
in each of
other
our playgrounds, or
I
skate parks, bike parks, and also
areas that
targeted
we want
youth
them,
engagement
but if
in schools, which was run by
if we,
the amazing sports central
We
team.
really need to wrap it up.
Hundreds
Yeah.
of people took part, and since then, the community
so,
interest has continued.
yeah, and
Even
we
now,
just
I'm
wanna
still
ensure
receiving
that
regular
just makes
emails
sense
from groups of
welfare and
individuals
safety
asking what the
criteria
next
for
stages
dogs.
of this project and when they can get involved again.
Yeah,
Just to give you a taste of
it's just, it's really
the
about
interest in this
safety of
project.
dogs
So it really
and
shows the
community,
community and it's locally.
confining everyone to such
And I will
small
add to that's
area
a particular interest from
dangerous
your community
for
in Cromwell.
everyone.
Next slide, please.
And, yeah, then our
So
dogs
we've now
don't
reached the
have
key
to
milestone. A draft play
That's a really
strategy
good
has been
example of a
developed
great
and it's
dog
going to come to
area.
council in the next month to seek
it's actually
approval
really
to
fun.
consult and embark for the public. We're moving from the listening stage, the research stage, and now
I'm not even
into
saying it needs to be
refining and
fenced,
testing
like I
our
think
approach.
as long as it's a large enough area, it's fine, so.
Okay, thank you. A really
That's all
important
that.
part of this work has been the engagement with Mana Whenua through our kaha. For districts like ours, where identity.
Thank you. I think that there has been maybe some miscommunication around the fact
it's
that
important that we provide play
trees-
opportunities.
they are forestry trees and they're 40 years old and there is a lifespan
So working with
of
Mana
them being
Whenua has
safe
helped
as well.
ensure
So
that
can't
what
just
we
say yes, we
provide
can leave
creates
those trees there
supports
forever
not only
because of the
visible
way that they've
development,
been planted.
but
They haven't
belonging
been
and
looked
long-term
after.
community
They
well-being.
are
This is
a
about
risk in
good planning
themselves, so
and
the
making
harvest
sure
of
we're
those
considering the
trees
full
is
picture
likely
and
to go
shaping
ahead.
of spaces.
And I don't think there's any fixed plan for exactly when that will be at
A
this
number of
point.
councils around
The
New
other
Zealand are now
side of
developing
that
play
is
strategies or similar approaches.
Putting
and
aside
there's a
land
growing
within
recognition
the
that
block
this is an
that's still
important area
there
of
for
planning.
dog walking is
So
certainly
we've
part of
learned
the
from several
conversation that is
places, we've
definitely
reached
being
out to our
had around
friends
this table.
and Gisborne
That the
District
loss of the
Council and
land
many
of
other
that space,
councils.
obviously while forestry
and then
harvest
we
is
reached
going
out
on,
to
it would
support
not be
New
safe
Zealand
for
with some
anybody
guidance.
to be on that land.
While this work is
dog
becoming more
walkers,
common, we're in a really good position to
in
shape
public
this
use of
an
that
approach
land
that
while the
reflects
harvest is happening.
central targets,
And
rural
re-establishment
context,
of an
dispersed
area
communities and strong outdoor
would
culture.
take a little bit of
So
time. So
continuing
there's a
in this
potential
space is gonna
temporary
put us in a
loss of
position
space,
to be
but it
leading
probably
among
wouldn't end
similar
up being.
districts, which is pretty
But what
exciting.
I'm hearing around the place a complete
Into the next slide, please.
loss of space over forever. You know, like even if a solar farm does go ahead there, and there's no guarantees that anything will go ahead there, there has been no plans drawn up about things. It certainly wouldn't take over the
Sport
whole
New Zealand
block
have a
plan,
national network of play
or
advocates
be the
working
only
across the
usage for that
country to
land.
improve play outcomes.
Yeah.
Can I ask,
They run intensive
Yes.
place-to-face
Lisa has
events
asked
in selected
that,
locations.
a staged approach
And
to be possible.
This could look a little bit like the play innovation hub.
I'm
They've done this
hearing
before, but
a
it
couple of
changes and
years,
evolves each year.
staggering certain areas.
Sport New
may
Zealand,
make
they were
a
looking
huge
for a
difference
focused
to
area
the
about where they could work
people
in
who
deep
signed to
with the community.
I understand that that is,
Who are they going
that's
to be based
something that you're
primarily
asking
in
for.
the Cromwell
I
village,
don't know
which provides
economically
practical on the
when
ground
you're looking
focus.
at the costs
And
of felling
Our
and
team,
de-stumping
what we did
areas,
was make
what
sure
that
that
would look like. We would need some
this isn't
information
just gonna
from the
be
people
focused on
who
Cromwell,
know
though. It's
what that
important
looks
to us
like.
That could be a.
that we can think about the
It's better to
environmental
give
changes
some
that they're working with there.
suggestion about when we're looking
However,
at it,
the Cromwell
but
board will be a
from
really
my
good
understanding, and other
space
times
to
that
start
trees
this
have needed
work,
to be
and
felled
we'll see what we go
from an
there.
economic point of view,
So
which
Cromwell
is
will be the key
ratepayers'
location,
money,
but
that
the
it
work
makes
will
a
still
lot
consider
of
Central Otago as a whole, using Cromwell as a lens to explore wider opportunities and challenges. So from Tuesday.
those things come
17th
into a
to
conversation,
Thursday,
but
the
I'm
19th of
talking
March,
about the
Sport New
impact on your
Zealand
rates
and play
for
advocates
this
from
type of
around the
activity. So
country
that's
are going to be
the
here working
initial
alongside our partners
thinking. So it's not about
and local
convenience.
partners, also Sport
That need,
Central, who are
that
really
forestry
involved
block
in
does
this.
need to be harvested.
So
So we
think
do
of
need
it
to look
as
at that as
3-day
being a
workshop,
reality, that
it's
is
gonna start
something
to
that's
be in
happening.
play
Industrial is, sorry.
and it is going
Yeah,
to be
the
centered here
industrial
in Central
land has already
Otago.
been rezoned
We're going to
industrial.
use a
That would
draft based
certainly
strategy, community feedback, which we
be
have plenty of,
definitely happening.
and local context to test ideas, strengthen our approach, and explore ways that we can deliver on this work.
Have been made, and certainly
So
no
the
decisions
who-
have been made
What
about
the HUI
future
is
land
going to
use.
do, it's going to
So
help
at the
us
moment,
test
it's a forestry
and
block,
refine our draft approach.
and it's a dog walking area.
Really
It
good
wouldn't be
timing for us
safe to
to
be
do this.
walking dogs there
And I should
during
mention,
forestry
this is when we
harvesting,
will be up
but the
for consultation on
re-establishment of
draft,
spaces
so,
for dogs in that area
it'll
is
be a
certainly
season's
something
week.
that's being considered.
It also helps us
Rest of
learn
the
from
board,
national
any
entities,
further to go
explore
into
practical
that?
delivery options,
Yeah.
and connect community feedback with specialist knowledge, specialist
That's it.
knowledge
Just
which
highlighted
just
the
wouldn't
issue
have
that
access to it. We
that's
didn't have anything like this coming in.
presentation. was
This is
spot
going
on.
to make sure that our
So,
strategy
yeah,
is well
thank you for that as
informed
well.
and grounded
And the one
in
thing,
both
big
local
thing that
input and
I've
wider
experienced,
experience.
even though I'm sort of championing and doing a lot of research around the solar farm, like at the end of the day, the numbers have to stack up for it to be worthwhile for the community to look at doing it. And that
The HUI
includes
is going to
return
conclude with a final
be.
presentation to all elected
But at the
members
same
on Thursday, the
time, I don't
19th of
think
March.
the
So
two
this
things
is the
that
big
wasn't
thing I'm
ever
going to
be
talk to you
mutually
about.
exclusive, like.
This will be an
I
opportunity
think,
for you to
yeah,
hear
from that
key
today, I
insights,
just want to
see
thank you
how
guys for
Central
coming in,
Otago
because I
fits
think
with
it's
the wider national
really
picture.
good to
And be a part of
highlight
the
to us the
conversation
importance
about
of.
how
And
we
we do
move
know it
from
is
strategy
important.
into
And we hear
implementation
about
over time.
technology, from ED,
This is
take
a new and positive way of
pride
working,
in
something
the
we haven't
fact
done
that
before.
a rugby
And the parts team is on the groundwork now, research.
Yeah, because we know the rest of
engagement,
that
and now
too,
we're
because of course in the
bringing
other
national
place near the
expertise
industrial area,
to
there's dogs and
Central Otago.
there, so.
Can I have a
We're
vote as
just
well?
stripped of our size, this is a really valuable opportunity.
And
And our key ask is very simple. I would just like you to know our dates and attend the final session. And I'm just around at Chris Button
Certainly
now.
at the moment, we don't, there is no time frame for that, but it would be important for us to keep that communication open so that you're aware of when things are likely to happen. And obviously with, if you're gonna harvest two forestry blocks next door to one another, it's not all gonna happen all at once. So in terms of that staged approach, it's highly likely that as you do them, areas will be able to remain open, or one part, particularly industrial land, would go first before the other
To be
part. So
confirmed, but probably in Alexandra.
those are
The idea
all things
is
that still need to come before us. We haven't actually seen any papers on this. It's only been talked about that
And another piece that's
from the
probably relevant
harvesting
to everyone in this room.
for that industrial land, which is the endowment
I'm
land
not,
that's
we're still
you know,
working
paying for lots of
but we are
things
going
for this
to
town
have,
too.
a call for you to start this
And
event.
The
that
thought
will be happening
about
on
those
the
other
17th.
dog
It's a
areas
Tuesday.
wasn't that it's that
And
big
so perhaps
take your
that's
dog
something
to
that
run
the
and
community,
have zoomies. It's
will
more
members would
that
like to
people
attend
still
if
wanted
you're
that
around.
fenced dog space that was a,
yeah.
we can go
So
down
it'll be
there
kind of
and it's an
like
interesting
this.
place for dogs to
Yeah.
be. So I still think there's probably some value in
I mean,
exploring
I
Alpha
think
Street as that fenced small dog park. You know, but we've still got that type of dog, because there are probably dog owners who are looking for that opportunity as well, and there certainly were a few years ago when those conversations were being had. There's the two spaces out there, there's the, I need my dog to run in the hills, and I need my dog to be, have an exercise area, yeah.
Make a comment.
Yeah.
I'm also a user of that plantation area for dog walking.
For the final day.
It's important to note that it's a people walking area as well.
Yeah.
It's
If you
possible it
create
will,
a small
yeah, we're
dog
still
park,
working with the finer
and you
details, so
have dogs
perhaps it will be
running
on the
around,
morning,
people
so just
saying
keep that in
oops.
calendar anyway.
And that's not what
I'd say
happens
within
now.
next week.
No, and I acknowledge
People
that.
use it for recreational walking, away from bikes. It's a very.
And I just said,
very good area.
Maria and I
Trees
have
are,
this a couple of
an
times and
essential
all
element
the
of
theory
the
stuff,
charm
and I've never met
of the
anybody as
charm.
passionate.
And that
as
unfortunately
Gary
is the bit
subject
that I
matter
can't
she is,
guarantee
and
for
we
you
are
that we
so
can
lucky
leave
that
trees
she's
there
one
because there's a
who's
whole lot
done
of
this. She is
investigation that would have to
internationally
happen that they
recognised
would
with
be
the
safe to be
podcast
left.
that she's
You
put out there at the
start
moment.
moving trees that
all
have
over
grown
the
in that sort of
world.
space, you start moving the trees from around them, you lose the structural integrity of the forest.
She's done an awesome job, she's very humble, but she's doing a great job with this, and it's, this is like national.
But
and it's
what I'm
like
trying to say,
moments.
I don't think it's mutually
Pick
exclusive.
up what
I don't think
you're
trying to
running with
protect
and
you
do
with
that
a,
awesome.
off-lead running area
No, I'm
and
not,
trying
but
to
that's.
provide the people
that's
that really
something
wanted us to
that
do a
we
fenced
was-
dog park. I don't think they're mutually
Yeah.
exclusive. I think that we can still be talking about both things happening to provide both of those objectives for our community. I don't know what other land we have available for that type of activity. If it was fenced, you wouldn't have the bike and you wouldn't have the, people walking through it.
Trees still in the sun, you have one.
I'm well aware of that, would need to be done in
So we go
consultation
through
with the
the rest
people,
of the
the
governance
people who were
report is
really
there
keen on
for
that
your
about 3 or 4
reading
years ago
pleasure,
and were keen
and
to
take
get
it
that done.
as read.
And
You've got
they've
full
fallen away from
update,
working on that project, but
there
I still
on
think
the
you'll find that there's a group
project,
that want
and of course
that
we
type
had
of thing.
those,
And a group that want
couple of
exactly
photos
what
that
you
came
are
through,
providing at the moment as well.
of the seats in the cinema and stuff, which was so exciting to see.
That's why our street
Um,
remains.
Getting to
There's also
that
just
final
the book
fit out
effect, they have
stage,
the
which
book
was
thing of
really
Gregory
awesome,
and
and
people
of course
park
setting
it,
it up
people
in
park
place
it.
because it's got
And then you've
nothing
got
on it,
your
and people just,
updates
and I'm
there,
aware of
is
that,
there
which
anything
is
that
why
needs to be
when we talked
discussed?
about that space in the past,
No.
but that was a community-led discussion.
Sandflat Road, Panic Rim Road
So
trees.
that,
So,
Yeah.
just to be clear though, just over
Um,
there's 600 people in this community, so that's a lot of people.
Yeah, right.
And obviously our
Yeah, I was
streets
gonna
are
ask about
option
you.
for all of these
Both of us
people,
get-
it's 600 people who have come today.
cool.
What is
I move
the
around
issue is
second
that
for
the
the governance
council has no
report,
money for fences and has no land.
We don't have,
Elsewhere.
Thank you.
there probably are other pockets of lands that are council owned, reserved, that you could,
Yep.
that have trees on them and are already the sort of thing that you're looking for. Creating something in the
And
space
the
that you've
date
already
of
got,
our next
once the harvest
meeting
is
is
happened,
Tuesday,
is a
3rd
possibility.
March, and
But
then we go to the
I
resolution
can't imagine
on page 40
a
of your
forested
agenda
area for
to
you, because we
exclude public.
probably are very few, which is why that is such a popular spot in Cromwell. Because there are very few shaded spots,
Why?
whether they're designated dog friendly or not dog friendly, there's very few shaded spots in Cromwell.
Thank you, Chairman. Take
Of
a
that
couple of
nature.
Can I
breaks.
just ask about
Cuppa.
the significance of your 15 hectare minimum? Is the favourite triangle area that you pointed out at the top, it's got a 700 metre dimension one way and a 300 metre dimension the other.
I just sort of noticed that this morning, it wasn't a huge part of the
Mm.
calculations, but I just noticed that's the most high use out of the area, not to say the rest wouldn't be used, but that's the main part,
Yeah.
where some people just go down, up and back in that triangle, and that's their pace, they're happy with it.
Is vehicle access a critical part of exercising dogs? Because I know a lot of people let the dog out, drive up, with the dog beside them and drive back again.
Not in my opinion.
No.
But there are lots of
But there are a lot of people who do that, yeah.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
people, yes.
So, what would be a critical dimension for off-lead, we'll call it large dog area? Like, surely it would be 300 metres, right? It's a good par four. 300 metres this way, 300 metres that way. That's a pretty big area.
The problem
15 hectares is pretty big.
to throw a lot of dogs in a small area, that don't know each other is dangerous and like going blind to that dog park, I would never do. A lot of people, and you wanna walk with your dog. I know not everyone wants this, but then the dog park, the people that did this 6 years ago are gone. And everyone that has signed the petition is using sand flat. I don't think if somebody wants to go to a fenced small area, they can go to Clyde. They have that option. I don't think there's a lot of people that, or dogs particularly, I work with dogs all the time and I just see issues when I think of people just going to a fenced area that's 500 meters and letting them go.
I think the key issue is sort of if there's a reactive dog, a larger space that allows for people to have that experience, but also keeping other dogs and people safe.
I think generally there's a good opportunity to figure out how to make this all work together. I think the biggest issue that we have is that for a period of time, there probably won't be trees. And it's going to be a shade issue, but I don't think that's going to be avoidable with what the information that we've been given so far. And staggering is still going to create the scenario where there's still going to be
A period of
time
time
where there's no tree.
Yeah.
And and again, this is, something that I'd love your feedback on. I would almost think it's better to probably rip the Band-Aid off, get rid of the trees and then plant something new and grow it up again as fast as we can, knowing full well that something is going to be happening at some point in the next couple of years anyway.
Yeah.
And just working with you guys, with you guys on that. But again, I go back to the fact that, we've heard you loud and clear. I think it's really impressive what you guys have done with the community. It shows really good community leadership. Thank you.
Absolutely, and I don't think there was ever any intention that it would be a loss forever. It just, there's going to be an interim period of time where there's going to be, we're going to have to work hard to think about how it looks. And maybe there's an opportunity to make it more, what you would really like it to be. Because at the moment it is just forest space. Some people love field space as well, where they can throw a ball and do those things that's dog off lead. So maybe there's some opportunities to look at all of those things as we redevelop.
There could be some income coming in from the harvest of those trees as well, which could be used to invest in a smaller space, like what we're talking about there, triangles. There's lots of options.
So sorry, we might not be able to have continuity for you across when that time frame comes up, which we will need reports from staff to tell us where they've got to with the investigations of what that looks like and how it's going to happen. But hopefully there's an opportunity for us to work together to look at what we can produce from that, to think about the land use afterwards. As I said, there's been some suggestion about solar farm. There's been talk about maybe it's replanted in forestry, so we keep the carbon credits. But other than that, that's all the conversations that have been had so far. But certainly, right from the word go, we heard that people really value it as a dog space. So we don't want to lose that.
Okay. Thank you.
About that dog walk.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
And then I've got Chris and Lloyd about the Terrace Community Plan. Maybe they've got space for it.
Because I knew you'd be here. I'd like to. So if anyone wants the Terrace Village hat, you can get one from the Terrace. Awesome. Love it.
Welcome.
I appreciate your time early in the training. So I'm Chris Goddard, just a Terrace resident, and on behalf of the Terrace Rural Women, I've come here today to bring a few people up to speed about the Terrace Community Plan. I think I had a bit of insight when I booked this slot in mid-December, because I was driving in today and News Talk ZB had the Prime Minister talking at great length about the Terrace community and its aspirations. I put to the community board that the Terrace Community Plan is that midpoint within the Terrace community about what the Terrace community values. If you are looking for the plan, Peter's team has put it on the CODC website. So it's an update from the 2017 plan to, I believe, 2023. It will be dated, but they got released in 24. So Terrace, perhaps teaching you to suck eggs at this point, but it is a small Central Otago community, just shy of 1,000 people based on the last census data. So a bit of a dichotomy, being out of sight, out of mind, perhaps from the wider Cromwell community, but essentially somewhat omnipresent in the media at the moment. No community has a unitary view about any topic, and the CODC supported Terrace Community Plan. It's a long negotiated average of what the community's aspirations are across 6 different areas. So the Terrace Community we've talked about census growth. It is one of the gateways into central Otago, as Dylan would attest to. On a peak hour and a peak day, about 800 vehicles stop off at Terrace, around about 2,200 a day in peak season. Terrace has a lot of central government, local government services provided. So post hub, you've got 2 postcodes, Terrace, which is quite exciting. Primary school, community church, recreation reserve, although not fenced for dogs. The council hall, war memorial, we have fire and emergency, New Zealand Volunteer Brigade, rubbish and recycling, and a number of long-standing community groups, of which some of this board are members of. Bit of a sentiment survey that I had an opportunity to run as part of a consulting piece of work a few years ago. Terrace is seen as New Zealand as it was forever when you're far away in the North Island. And that sentiment is very strongly positive. As you get closer to Terrace, you do get a bleed in of different sentiments. Other people in Cromwell, wider Wanaka and the basin having different views on what Terrace's future is. But Ron Adams in the Otago Daily Times suggested Monday that there are different paths for Cromwell for Terrace, and the community board has an enviable task of having to piece through it and represent all of these views. So the Terrace plan, as I've pointed out, is a useful tool. It's not a unitary view, but it is a midpoint. Just calling out at 2 of the elements, economic vitality and the Terrace voice out of the plan. The community plan certainly has a different emphasis than what you would expect on economic vitality. It's very strong on not positioning Terrace as a residential, as an employment precinct, but as a rural residential community, and talks to that development of economic development in the plan as having a rural feel dominated by the community. So a very strong message there. There was a parliamentary debate late in 24 that talked about Terrace. It seems we get talked about a lot. It called out one element which is echoed in the plan, which is that a vibrant local Terrace economic community, you don't want to be picking winners and losers, that we want to lift everybody up rather than some people preferentially to others. In terms of the Terrace voice, you would have noticed, and I mentioned News Talk ZB earlier, that there's a lot of commentary what Terrace could be and what the people living there should do. In the last 12 weeks, we've had some very weird things happen. A 7th Prime Minister, first time in living memory, maybe even in Terrace's history, but he's turned up for a community meeting. We've had some very strong advice from the Southland MP, cabinet ministers sharing their perspectives of what the community should be. The Terrace plan talks about what you might call traditional New Zealand values, passion and care about the place, but it has no singular view that plurality is respected, and old traditional doesn't mean obsolete. So the Terrace community certainly wants to be heard on things that matter. So as the community board and the council, you are one of the few groups who is able to represent the Terrace community in some of the upcoming discussions about the Terrace community's future, and I would strongly encourage taking time based on Peter's team's tireless work to pull the Terrace community together with this community plan. Have a look at the plan and give some reflection if you are called upon to represent the Terrace community. Any questions?
Thank you for your time. Has anyone got any questions?
Can you just give me more of an informal commentary about the different perspectives that Terrace community has about its future?
That's a very difficult question. That probably has a very extended answer. In terms of some of the hero projects that the CODC Economic Development Plan calls out, Terrace is half of them. So there's the potential of an international airport based on photos that was behind me was taken from the where the airport land is. The other one is a mining development planned above the Terrace School down the Article of Thompson Gorge roadside. Like any community, we have a very different set of views depending on that person's lived experience. Terrace is unusual from a mining perspective. It probably has the highest density per capita miners. The idea of mines engaging early with the local community is absolutely fundamental since the early 90s. The current development, in my view only, has missed the beat there and getting into the Terrace community and having that robust community engagement and a community agreement. It's generally, in my experience, quite fundamental. The airport's been on a slow walk for a number of years, but the Christchurch Council's companies still owns the land. So depending on how this fast track goes, there may be another one for the community board to have to consider. With the airport, variety of views there as well. Surprisingly, the mine seems to have engendered much stronger views than the airport did, and you can see that in both social media and TV, radio, and print media. So I don't know if I answered your question.
Is one Terrace community split, or do you do it projects, or
it's a continuum? So it's not you like it, there's people and that's spectrum.
And I would suggest that when the airport company first started being public about their plans in that space, there was quite a lot of community feeling and quite a lot of interest as well. Just to be really clear on fast track things, that the council and the community board really don't have any say or any decision making process that can happen in those spaces, but we can certainly listen to Terrace as members of our community alongside our Cromwell community. And I really appreciate that Terrace understands that their needs, and that as a very distinct community that's part of this wider community, that you have a plan that talks about your community as a whole and the values that you hold dear in there, and the fact that there is a continuum, as there is with everything, of those views on things like airports and mining, and there will be people who are all for it and people who are dead against it, and most people will sit somewhere in the middle of those things. So there is, for our elected members around the table, Rebecca has just made sure that we've got them through your plan so that we can go away and read it. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. And there's a happy question for you, Randy, as well. Appreciate it.
Howdy ho. Bob, come and join us. Your hat is beautiful, by the way.
And I'll talk to that as well.
Okay.
I can do that. Be sure. You get in the steps if you.
Thank you for getting your steps up.
Material and election year long.
Thank you. Am I sitting in this seat?
You can sit whichever seat you want. You can even get up and do a dance between them and swap seats as you speak. Bob, welcome.
Thank you. I'm going to take this hat off in a minute. Perhaps I want to explain why I'm wearing it. It's actually my birthday. I discovered by reading the Otago Times today that I share my birthday with Jerry Brownlee. The worrying thing is that I'm actually older than him. But I don't look it.
Of course not.
I'm going to read this out actually because I read this earlier. But most of you are aware I've had a few issues with my health over the past 2 years. And I've got very many reasons to be thankful for the tremendous care that I've received from our health system, and particularly from our local community facility, Dunstan Hospital. And that's the reason why I'm here today, to emphasise that Dunstan Hospital is a community hospital owned and managed by the people of Central Otago. Every year, Dunstan Hospital receives funding from Health New Zealand, but it's never enough. Until recently, some additional funding was supplied through the community organisation Friends of Dunstan Hospital, but unfortunately this group was disbanded a few years ago. Currently, the hospital operates on behalf of our community through Central Otago Health Services Limited, COSL, which was formed in 1999 when Healthcare Otago withdrew from providing services. The COSL board is appointed by Central Otago Health Incorporated, CONINC, a community established incorporated society created to ensure local ownership of assets and maintain the hospital community focus. Funding setup is fairly complicated. COSL currently pays an annual lease for the use of the assets, which is mainly hospital equipment, which are owned by the incorporated society on behalf of the community. There's a need to simplify the structure, and the proposal involves selling CONIC's capital assets of COSL by an interest-free loan. The management, ownership and future operational control of the assets will be passed over to COSL. The lease will be cancelled and a general security arrangement can be set up to provide future security of the assets. CONIC retains 100% ownership of COSL and its newly acquired assets on behalf of the community. That's the important part. It will continue to appoint appropriately skilled directors to the board of COSL and continue to add value by focusing on a constitutional role in ensuring the efficiency and effectiveness of the structure and of the appointed directors. Future income to allow Dunstan Hospital to expand its level and range of services will come through the newly formed Dunstan Hospital Foundation, which was successfully launched at the end of last year. And I've given you each a copy of details of that foundation. Currently, the foundation is working hard to raise funds to expand the delivery of chemotherapy treatment at Dunstan. Human Health provides funding that only covers 3 days of service. The hospital is already providing service for 4 days a week, and there's a desperate need to extend this further to 5 full days a week. I'd just like to get 2 messages to our community. Firstly, that Dunstan Hospital is not a public hospital. It's run by the community for the community. Secondly, that the community will lose nothing as a result of these changes. All the assets in the operation of Dunstan Hospital will remain in control of the Central Otago community. Finally, I encourage you all to look at the details of I supplied about the Dunstan Hospital Foundation. If there's any possibility that you're going to be organising fundraising, that's the place to look at. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob, for your time. I know that your health journey has been really difficult, and it's been the initial stages of it while you were working toward getting a diagnosis were really hard on you and your family. And I'm really thrilled to see you coming and presenting to us about health now that you are in good health.
Yes.
So I appreciate that. Anyone got any questions or comments for Bob today? Thank you so much. Really useful information about an important community facility.
Yes.
Thank you. And next on my list, I have Dennis and Peter from the Cromwell RSA to speak.
Dennis and Craig.
Sorry. I'm just reading things off my piece of paper. Please put this up. Welcome, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, and to your community board members. My name is Dennis Ryan, President of Cromwell RSA, and with me today is Fraser Scott, one of our welfare officers. On behalf of Cromwell RSA, we thank you for the opportunity to present our submission regarding the name of the new hall complex. From the very beginning, before any design work commenced, the RSA was invited to meet with council staff to discuss the proposed replacement of the old hall. We agreed that the original hall had reached the end of its functional life and supported the vision for a new complex. It served the Cromwell community well into the future. At our monthly meeting, I was elected as the RSA representative on the external stakeholders group to ensure our needs and the values were considered throughout the process. Attached is item 1 dated the 20th of January 2022, which clearly states one of our earliest and most important requests that the word memorial be retained in the name of the new facility. When the new set of drawings was released, we were pleased to see the proposed name Cromwell Memorial Hall and Event Centre. This name reflected both the expanded purpose of the new complex and the enduring significance of remembrance. We were satisfied with this compromise. Recently, it's come to our attention that the naming process will now be subject to public consultation. We respect this process, but we feel it is critical to refer that memorial is remained in the name. The word memorial is not symbolic. It is foundational. It presents the heart of history and of this facility and the values of the Cromwell community. Continuity of legacy. It honours the original Cromwell Memorial Hall and the tradition of commemorating service and sacrifice. Historical significance. The new complex will house the Veterans Association and Museum, making remembrance a core function. Community values. It reinforces gratitude and respect, ensuring future generations understand the importance of heritage and the price of freedom. Removing memorial will erase a vital link to our identity and history. We have proposed 3 names: Cromwell Memorial Heritage and Event Complex, Cromwell Memorial Pavilion, Cromwell Memorial Arts and Heritage Centre. The closing statement. This new facility represents progress for Cromwell, but it also stands on the foundation of history and sacrifice. The original hall was not just a building, it was a memorial, a place dedicated to honouring those who served and the values we hold dear. Removing the word memorial from its name would erase that legacy. It would discontinue future generations from the story of service and remembrance that defines our community. We are not asking for prominence. We are asking for continuity, respect and identity. We urge the board to uphold the principles of remembrance by ensuring the memorial remains in the name of the new facility, because it is much more than a hall, it's a living tribute. So I'd like to present that petition to the board, Anna, for your consideration as you move forward.
Thank you so much for your time and for your very considered thoughts that you've put into your letter. I know that you have been part of that stakeholder group and that you have been very firm in your thinking, and of course your thoughts will be taken into consideration. I can't tell what the outcome of the consultation process will be, but I do know that the board will take the naming of the hall very seriously and take the acknowledgement of the memorial aspect of the hall and its meaning to the local community very seriously. Anybody else got any further comments that wish to make to?
Can you just repeat your 3 suggestions for the name?
Cromwell Memorial Heritage and Events Complex, Cromwell Memorial Pavilion, Cromwell Memorial Arts and Heritage Centre.
And we just make sure that your members that have been part of this and the petition, so there will be a public consultation. It's really important that they don't see the consultation and think, oh, we've already submitted our views. So anybody that has gone there, it's important to get them into that consultation process as well. So it's not a double up. You know, we've got the information from there, but really encourage anybody that does have something to say to complete that feedback when it's available.
I totally agree. I mean, that's why we're here today. We've been asked many times to go on social media and give what we really think. But we don't want to do that because it's not the place to do it. We'd rather front up today and present it to you. And as we move forward, You know, at the end of the day, we'll accept what we've accepted, but we're not going up that point.
It's just important for us that those are, that they're weighted against each other, but if we've got one way of looking for that feedback, and for us, the most straightforward way of doing that, to compare like for like and see how many numbers there are for each, if there are different names or different opinions, that feedback, your members don't think, oh, well, I've already submitted my opinion through the petition, so I won't say anything. It's important that they do go on and do that, so we do have them in that particular forum as well. Just that they understand that, and that we will get that. That's really important. Put that in for us.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I'll put this right through all of our members, 70-odd members, so we're on agreement that was presented today, and then we move on from here.
Yep. We're getting a lot closer to the completion of the building. How soon do you expect to have a name?
So the workshop that we held just before, we talked about there being quite a short consultation period, which will be over 2 weeks. The decisions about the exact dates of that will be made soon as part of this meeting. And so we expect in our April meeting for the results of that consultation to come back to us, and for that to be decision making at that point, which will then go to the council meeting at the end of April. So we're looking at a naming process that will be completed by the end of April.
I mean, we've heard all the pros and cons about the naming, and you know, there's some that, for instance, that, you know, it's got to be a name that's can be used to, you know, to advertise for this building for its hire and all the rest of it. So it's got to be named aside by whatever. And then we've heard about the gifting name that's been given as well. And I'm not too sure how you're going to use that in your efforts to try and get, you know, visitors coming to the complex, tours coming through, events in the auditorium part, and that type of thing. But I have Will's got
It's behind you. But what, as Sarah has said, just encourage your members, if you would like us to come to a meeting where we get everybody to fill in the consultation form and do the little workshop, then one of us would be more than happy to front up to a meeting, or all of us, or however many you wish, so that your membership, or whether it's a whole membership or whether it's just your committee, to fill in the consultation form.
Well, you already told us that you would come to a March meeting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, we'll put that on the agenda.
That would be perfect. Yeah.
And hopefully it'll be in the new room.
I don't think we're quite ready to have that meeting in the new room.
Just get that on YouTube.
But thank you so much for coming and speaking with us today. Appreciate it. Yeah, and how wonderful that the cenotaph is in place.
And
Yeah.
regardless of whatever the outcome happens to be, I look forward to joining you guys on Anzac Day.
It's very
Down there, amazing, whatever it's going to be called. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Can you make sure you flick me an invitation to that meeting so I know I've got the date written in my diary? Fraser, can you make sure that Peter flips me a date?
We will.
But yeah, sorry, things fall out of my brain if I haven't got them in writing.
Once that date is confirmed, you show that out.
Yeah. Cool. Righty ho. And that brings us to Harvey and Martin about the cycle trail from Gibston to Bamford.
Oh,
Peter's on my list as well. Sorry, Peter, I forgot you. You'll be in a minute. I see these two gentlemen sitting in the front row, you see, so they've jumped in your spot. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Martin Anderson. I'm for my sins the Secretary of what is called the Bannockburn Responsible Development Society. And we have been concerned for some time about the implications that the completion of the new cycle track from the Bannockburn Bridge to Gippsland will cause to the Bannockburn environment. And Harvey prepared a report back in 2024, which of Port Council, and has written to both yourself, I believe, and the mayor on these issues. And we've had the opportunity today to share some of these concerns with the community board, because we think there are going to be some serious outcomes if these matters aren't addressed. Paper.
Kia ora tātou. And my name's Harvey Bivens. I'm a resident of Bannockburn, but I've also spent nearly 40 years studying rural communities. And part of that, the reason I live in Bannockburn, I've done a research project here on the development of the wider region and just government place. But I thought I'd better start living here. So that's how I came to be here. I'm, as Martin said, I'm representing Bannockburn Responsible Development Society, and the society's been advocating for the creation of a Bannockburn spatial plan to operationalise the relevant parts of the Cromwell Idle Future Master Plan, which was established 6.5 years ago, and we've seen no progress on a spatial plan for Bannockburn, just by having beaten that drum pretty hard for quite some time. So we're 6.5 years and not much done yet. And nowhere is the need for a Bannockburn spatial plan clearer than in the April 2024 report prepared on the Colorado Gorge Trail, which in the reports inside in the centre are cycle trails demand projections 2024 to 2028. The trails will open this year, so it had close to 30 years with its data in hand and not done materially much with it as far as we're aware of Bannockburn. And what we're going to see as a result of the opening of the trail are a great number of cyclists travelling on Felton Road in the Bannockburn area. So it's worthwhile just emphasising just a few points from the report, which are a council report. So this is data you've been doing for 2 years. It's worthwhile emphasising. Cycle tourism, on page 3, cycle tourism is experiencing significant growth in Central Otago. The Lake Dunstan Trail has proven more popular than expected, 5 to 10 times higher than projected at the design stage. Any negative feedback about that and the other trails so far is associated with inadequate facilities, such as lack of shade, parking, public amenities. The low demand projection for the first season for the Colorado Gorge Trail is 80,000 cyclists. That's the low projection. And the high projection is 102,000. It's worthwhile speaking about those numbers. There are people that will be travelling on Felton Road in Bannockburn. On top of the already busy traffic there. Peak day demand could reach between 770 and 980 trips per day, and peak hour demand could reach between 175 and 225 trips per hour. This is almost 2 trips per minute in both directions. So this level of peak demand, the authors of the report suggests requires advanced planning at trailheads to determine ease the impacts of congestion. Where a typical 30-minute loading unloading period occurs, this could see close to 100 users and their vehicles accumulating in areas. So this kind of message has really sort of rung a few bells in Bannockburn. So one of the main issues facing us up there is currently very little parking space in Felton Road. Vehicle and bike parking space in Bannockburn Village near the Black Rabbit Cafe and Hotel is at a premium. The small roadside areas available are already often congested when used by locals and current visitors. There is no green space in the village, which is emphasised in the master plan. There's no green space in the village where locals and visitors, including cyclists, can rest and congregate. There are no areas of land zone mixed use in the village, to facilitate the necessary expansion of such services. And we're all wondering, what are we going to do? And on top of that, there was no further back from the end of Felton Road to Ballingford Road to the hotel and cafe on which cyclists might travel. This is a very significant traffic and potential safety issue, which I understand from Janine Wood, Chief of Southern Lakes Trails Trust, has been brought to the attention of the council roading team. Rumour has it that something's being done, but nobody's talking to us about it. So we don't know. This is probably a rumour. There's no obvious public source of drinking water in the village for cyclists and others. And on top, and perhaps most importantly, there are no public toilets in Bennington Village and very few commercially provided facilities at the hotel and cafe, 6 toilets in total. The domain has toilets, but they are for campus and playground users. Toilet provision is a major issue given the peak site of demand projection figures above. This is happening this year. So in summary, it's clear that many cyclists will soon be visiting Bennington, and we need the community board to create a plan urgently as part of the wider spatial plan for Bennington to manage cyclist impacts on the village, paying particular attention to the diversion of public facilities and services. That's it. Any questions?
That was some pretty good points.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be huge. And I think one of the other things is that the Clyde Trail vastly exceeded the highest prediction when we went through. So I think you raised some incredibly good points about the fact that we're going to have a lot of out-of-towners getting up at Bannockburn Bridge at some point, probably wanting a rest and probably wanting a place to charge their e-bikes.
That's I mean, there's been a bit of a commercial response. The hotel, and at the hotels that are a little area up the back, there'll be some vision for charging, and I know the Carrot Winery are doing it, but it's further down the track. It's hard to imagine that anybody not having been to Bedford cycling down from Gibson to Felton Road and not coming up the hill. I just can't see it. I can't see them just cycling down Felton Road and heading the problem.
Yeah, the only thing I can see that might mitigate that a little bit is that the cycle trail companies are likely to pick up at the other end of Felton, but then you've got traffic down Felton Road rather than bikes. Yeah.
This is what we don't know.
Yeah.
This is why now. There's going to be clearly a strong commercial response.
Yeah.
So there will be bike companies, there'll be buses and trailers and all that sort of
Because there's certainly the Dunstan Trail, a lot of people don't go further than Cornish Point, do they? That's sort of stop there.
But given the nature of this and the capacity for e-bikes, they won't be coming out of Queenstown. I think people in Gibson will be struggling with the same problem.
Oh, absolutely.
So they'll be leaving Gibson and they'll be probably coming down, but many of them informally. So they'll be parking cars at the top and another car somewhere down here, and maybe one group cycling one way, another group coming out. But they get a little coffee and they're going to have one toilet and they're going to want water. And currently that's going to be a challenge because the friend of mine, another plan of fed, going to be carnage at the Black Rabbit.
Probably.
It's already 25 minutes to get a coffee.
QP, do you have an update on the roading?
Yeah, so just in terms of that connection from Felton Road up to so the roading do have a plan, and a report will be coming to the Cromwell Community Board around the use of the reserves in terms of parks and reserves, financial contribution reserves. So there, but the problem is it's a budget that is available for constructing that path. That was going to be earlier. However, the Three Waters major projects team is renewing and putting a new water line up there, which goes right through where the path would be going. So we've paused our project and are working in with the contractor that has, we're looking at pricing that project and with as either as part of that project or as a standalone project, just looking at which is going to be the best use of those funds for that. So we'll be having a conversation with community board, with council, for the use of the reserves for that project and be following the Three Waters project. That's the last thing we want to do is build a path, but then you're going to And of course, so
Which part of the road is it looks like going up?
it is going the side that we would the right hand side here. They have would be going, and then at the top of the road there. There are some other
In front of the road, top of the.
yes, yeah. And there are a couple of intricacies with the current laws that is on that corner in terms of the boundary of that. And so we've been out and done some site investigation because if people are turning their on the private road, cutting the corner and just making sure it's safe. So we've done sort of that the design work.
Is it feasible to build a track up through the sluice end for Hall Road?
It's not our land, but that would be feasible. There is unformed legal road that runs alongside Mount Difficulty to the main road. As well as another.
It wouldn't take long to smooth out those paths, would it, to make them cycle ready to get to Hall Road?
That would be just as in terms of the other matters around parking and that, so roading is working with the cycle car around signage as well as with the operators as well around where those are off points. So and trying to pull people back there. As a drop off as well as signage in terms of no cycle car parking us as well, like we've tried to do on
Right.
that corner point car park very rarely has cars in it now, and a lot of people are parking free and which it's just a bit of an initial use piece of that car park. So
And Ant, you had something to add?
Yes. BQ. It's just it is so Tourism Central have been working with Southern Lakes Trails and Queensland Trail Trust. We're the ones who commissioned the report that you're quoting from, so great to the report being used. And that was exactly why we did it, is so that we could start validating some of the pressure points and looking at how we mitigate or try to mitigate. And so a lot of that it has been working with the trust around where those car parking locations are, where those car parkings that we want to promote. So again, the newer road situation, Cornish Point situation happened because of not thinking around how we worded what was open and what wasn't, and then people going, oh, I want to do the Cornish Point section, when it was never intended to be a section of the Lake Dumpster Trail. So there's a lot of small little semantic pieces that we're working on with the trail. We want to get it all right. And then I think a lot of the pressures around things like that, we've got very operators who are really starting to find partnerships. Wineries for businesses in Blackburn, same things happening in Gippsland, so that the operators will spread out their impact a little bit there, but we don't want to see lots of vehicles with 5 trailers going along the road when it's a working space for all the vineyards and things like that. So,
and can I just make a couple of points?
Yes.
The County Bannockburn Road is going to only increase significantly because of the potential for the Jones and Sorrell Family Trusts to develop land they own at the end of Terrace Street, which is currently a cul-de-sac, and that has been before the council for consent. So there's likely to be further development in Terrace Street, which will involve contractors' vehicles and heavy traffic. I'd just like to also emphasise the fact that the parking situation along Bannockburn Road, basically from where the pub is up to the corner of Domain Road is dire. The council came along, put 2 no parking signs in front of our place along towards the Recreation Cafe, which further reduces the ability to park your car, with the result that everybody ignores them. So there's a real danger there, because the signs were put up to so that people could get visibility both up and down the hill for oncoming traffic, because there'd be a number of very near accidents coming out of driveways. So the whole situation at that section of road in Bannockburn is dire, and I'd just like to back up what I'm saying.
I can't stress this enough. This is just about planning for the immediate arrivals of cyclists. Bannockburn desperately needs a station plan, and this stuff would be just one part of it. For example, you mentioned the paved road that runs from Fountain Road to the end, well,
Gibson Road, Drain Road, well, there's an opportunity, just crying out, so what for consideration, but there's no plans. There's no vehicles to think about these sorts of things. We're 6.5 years in. We were to hear the terrace has got planned.
Well, no, this isn't a spatial plan, this is a community plan. If you want to do a community plan, I'll connect you with Rebecca behind you and she can support you with a community plan. If you want a spatial plan, then we can have a talk about that in our LTP strategy workshop this afternoon. Yeah, so that would need funding. So in order for that to happen, we have to commit funding to it. So we'd need to talk about that in our LTP session.
This situation, for instance, just housing, how important it is. I mean, there's no green space. I mean, these people will need a place to park their bikes, sit and have a drink. It's just mind-boggling, frankly, the numbers. And I know that you just talked about the commercial operators, and I agree, based on what I know, I'm sure there'll be quite a few people involved, but there'll be a lot of catchers. There'll be a lot of catchers. So it means private cars, people unloading, offloading, parking the car for the day, a whole range of things. Where are they going to do it?
Fabulous stuff in our backyards that we haven't anticipated. Thank you so much for bringing your presentation to us, and thank you to the team in back there, in the back rows, to give us some detail about where they're at with that. And we will keep Bannockburn spatial plan in our minds while we get to the LTP session if we can get there this afternoon. Yeah. Peter, finally, it's your turn. Come and talk. Yeah, let's do that.
Was I going to ask you?
Yes, gosh, yes. Welcome, Peter.
Yes, thank you. Have we got a
Just coming up.
plan?
A plan.
So we've had a Penny McDougall, is my name, West
Just
State
that is
Village
also in
Club,
the meeting.
a village tracker enthusiast, and we want to bring to Cromwell in 2027 the biggest event that Cromwell will hold. As you all know, Wheels at Wanaka has finished and we need a new place to hold our event. We've had 5 or 6 meetings over the race course. The area above the main track that's coming in there. And we have finally, I think, come to a situation where we now need the community board to sign off that you're agreeable of what we do going forward. Block 13 is right up the top there. It's going to be made into a mound for people to sit on to view the earth moving demonstrations, which will be in block 11. That's 2 hectare block, I think, or 4 hectares. And we won't, and they won't need 4 hectares, so it'll be quite a bit smaller than that. But the main point is that we need to build a parade ground. And that is block 12, and this is the bit that we need the community board to sign off on, because we don't know what the cost of building that will be until we strip off the topsoil, because we're not sure if the gravel will need compacted or not. But whichever it does, it will cost a lot more money. But what you've got to decide is exactly where you want that. My personal view is that the equestrian people, they didn't want us to interfere with too many jumps, and then when we got there and talked to them on the ground,
they've actually agreed to put it in a place where it interferes with quite a number of their jumps, but that's their choice. They're happy about that, and I personally believe that playground and the grassed area in the middle, where the number 12 is, and that grassed area will be big enough to hold a rugby paddock match. It's a playground. It's multi-use. That will be a multi-use facility going forward. And the Wheels Group, we will use it every second Easter. So there's a lot of time that other groups can use that for various things, such as concerts, open air concerts. You could have a 2020 cricket match. I think, Madam Chair, you had some ideas that you wanted to do there. Whether you're going to bring it out publicly or not, I don't know.
We haven't got time for that. We're
You might be making stuff up now. Just quietly.
So we've been at this since May, and we are now into February, and we need to be ready to go in the springtime, because we've got to build the playground and get it grassed, fenced and grassed, and it's got to be all there ready for the summer racing season.
So, thank you, Peter. So you'll remember that Peter did come and submit when we were looking at the racecourse reserve management plan. And since then, Peter has been connected with the Central Lakes Equestrian Club, and I've attended quite a few meetings alongside Peter with the club. They are now looking quite favourably upon the usage of land for this event and have some agreement about where things will go. Terry Emmett has probably done some more detailed plans that show exactly where these things will be and the sizing of them, which is quite useful. I think we had an email this week that had some of that information on it. So, so Peter, we need to really understand what it is that you want from us in terms of sign off, because at the moment, the management of the land sits with the CLEC, and they've pretty much given tacit approval to this going ahead. So what is it specifically that you need from the community board as a commitment in order to make this go ahead?
Right. We need the community board to sign off that the parade ground, the earth moving pit will be, the top soil will be disturbed, and then at the end of the event, it will be put back the way it is. This program is something that will be built going into the future for the next.
So it's permission that you're looking for to build things?
Yep.
Okay.
For the next 30 odd years. We need to set up a charitable trust, and I believe that charitable trust should be a five-legged trust. The heavy machinery people, the truck people, the vintage tractor people, they have a leg each, and then the community board as a 20% partner, and the Cromwell community. I'm not sure, Mr. Kelly, if that's districtised or it stays in the Cromwell community. That's for your decision.
Just for some clarification, are you looking at funding from the community board, in which case we would have to, that's something that
we have on 6 occasions, the mayor has been present, and she's sounding like grandma's track record. We've got no money. So
that's what I was just about to say. I was going to help grandma, but she's not here today.
So we will have to go out to the funders to get some money, but we need, and if the community board come on to the charitable trust, we will need 2 trustees from the community.
Okay, so we need in order for us to make any decisions, we need a paper to come in front of us. We can't make a decision from a forum. So we probably need to connect you with staff who can help to bring that paper to the table, right?
You need to sign up on this first, then we go out and we do all the legal.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, all the people who know more than me in the room, that CLEC then saying you can go ahead with that is the approval you need to go ahead with that bit. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, Gareth?
So just because we have a leasing agreement with them.
Because it's changing the land,
Yeah, it's changing the land, so it has to come back to council.
but that had to come back to a paper to us as well.
Over to you guys.
Yeah.
And because it affects the
Reserve management plan.
Body, which is put in a quick.
Yeah, so the bit at the top, the earth moving bit, that goes back to how it was at the end of the event. It's just the arena bit.
We should take it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll speak so.
Yeah, so was that likely to come to us in March?
Yeah.
Just because I'm aware of timeframes for Peter getting things done.
You get it from Gareth, it'll be here in March.
Thanks, Gareth. All right.
I'm very excited you just forgot the sixth link, which is the electric guys. Got to be part of that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry about that, but being a French person, dairy cow milking stools are either 3 leg or 5. I'm sorry, there's the 6 leg on it.
Still looking at my years on the tractor.
You can talk to CLEC directly and find Scott. There you go. All right, thank you so much, Peter. I think we've got a plan hatched for it coming back to us as a paper so that we can make a decision.
Right.
Perfect. Thank you. I look forward to our next meeting with the CLEC out on the race course. Put you at Windsor, always fun. So dry that you read this. Suddenly,
Thank you.
changed the road.
Well, we buggered up the time.
No, they came, like horses.
They're good at it. Start the year for this now.
Right, okay, we've finally finished the public forum an hour. An hour late.
Who wants to be here?
General catch up on time.
Righty ho, we are going to shuffle some things around. We're going to go to the minutes from the last meeting because we need to get that done. And our declarations of interest. So if you go to page 7 on your agenda, it's terrible, isn't it? Running up to page 7. And the confirmation of the minutes of the previous meeting. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Dropping it as read. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right, Sarah and Rebecca, all in favour. Just a reminder to stand aside from decision making if there is a conflict of interest or a perceived conflict of interest in the item that we're making decisions on. And then Wayne, I'm very sorry, we're going to move you down the rankings, and Jen, you get to go first.
Okay. Don't be sure.
Thank you. So we are on item 26.1.3, new facility naming discussions and process, page 23.
Yes. Thanks. Thanks for all of your feedback and input to the workshop earlier today. This paper just follows on from that workshop around the naming process for engaging with the community for the new facility. I have, following on from that discussion, I have drafted up a few more recommendations, and hopefully Sarah can put them up for your review and consideration.
Cool.
So she wrote it down.
A 1 hour workshop and 4 resolutions. Efficient.
Well, there may be some tweaks.
Okay, so here are our resolutions. Take the paper as read, and of course we've all been in a workshop around this content earlier on today, so we should be all over it. So recommendation B, recommends to council that a district-wide public engagement for the naming of the new facility is over a 2-week period commencing Monday, the 2nd of March, 2026. Recommends to council that feedback is gathered via online and hard copy survey. Notes that a high-level awareness and education campaign will begin prior to the public engagement period. And E notes that elected members will lead the community engagement with support from council staff. Yes.
I just wonder in B if we add English naming, because the Today you've already, the board and council have already approved it, so just.
And the only thing is we made a decision around the kind of the structure of the survey. Does that need to be in here?
No,
or
that's,
We've got direction on that.
to staff will put that together in direction.
And then I wonder if we put an F, noting that all the findings will come back to the board's April meeting.
Yes.
For, to be recommended to council in its April meeting, just
Yeah.
for the timeline to.
Yeah, it just gives us that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's not.
Recommendations to council. Yeah.
April meeting for its recommendations to council. So April meeting, then after meeting for its recommendations to council on that's the council meeting.
Yeah,
29th April.
And ours is the 7th, the board's 7th.
Yeah.
Okay, any further refining and discussion? No. And do I have a mover and a seconder?
No.
Oh, that was Rebecca. And Vera, they are faster than the boys in the room today. All in favour?
Good work.
Smashed that. Very cool.
Righty ho. Wayne, it's your turn.
Good start.
Right,
So we have, you go.
this, you'll remember that this, report came to your annual meeting and we started to defer it a little bit later, to, see whether, you had any thoughts on doing anything different or.
Well, we asked for staff to check in with the organisations to see who actually wanted us. So, has that happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Did you get any advice? So I had an email from the old Cromwell Incorporated, and they were concerned that they hadn't yet had anybody appointed, so we'd like to tell them that they were coming back to it at this meeting. But you didn't hear from anybody else, so no one else wants us.
That little thing, just before.
Yeah.
And we just appoint ourselves anyway.
Well, there's a couple that don't, you know, that was the reason for trying to reach out to the organisations, was that there are a couple that once we've been appointed, we never hear from either, and haven't been, have struggled to get in touch with them, so.
Helen Scholes has approached me.
Yeah, that was definitely Old Cromwell
Yeah.
want to have somebody. The Museum Trust definitely want to have somebody, but
Through the Cromwell Cemetery,
yeah.
which I'm happy to do.
I'd like to continue my journey with the Terrace Hall Committee, so what I.
Can we combine those two terrace ones into one though? Because there was a lot of confusion and crossover, but I know we talked about
I think
whether or not we go, still keep two people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're happy to join you there through it. So I'm cool to carry that on, but don't separate them into that community plan group and the hall committee per se, because there is a bit of crossover and a bit of everything else in it. It'd be good, just a terrace community, isn't it? Liaison would be enough, I think.
The Rippenvale Hall Committee, there is no Rippenvale Hall anymore, so that could be.
Should be, is that?
No feasible.
There is no Pisa District Community Group either, so they need to come on.
Starting one.
You really liaison. Team of one.
Pisa District, Rippenvale Hall.
They're gone. Terrace. It's just combined terrace liaison.
Yeah, so Terrace Community Liaison, two liaisons.
Yeah. What's the Bannockburn Community Centre and the Reserve? What's just been brought up at them?
Would we be better because they don't engage with us, those two.
No, so, but would you not think that would be all part of this, what of the spatial plan?
Would that be good to do the same to just on a carrot, combine it into just organic work community in general, but one person's.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe to connect with their, with this responsible development group might be the best group to.
It would be good for us to be.
It would be good to be on those,
someone,
and these
they don't
satellite
They
spaces.
just be there to be mobilised should that put
Yeah.
firm. Rather than,
Who lives closest to Bannockburn? You said.
no,
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Are you sure with those
Yeah.
two out of, yeah, okay. Considering you grew up in Bannockburn.
And live in Terrace, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Are we combining the Bannockburn?
No, we're just saying that the Bannockburn ones don't tend to actually engage with us. So rather than engaging with the Community Centre Management Committee and the Bannockburn Recreation Reserve Management Committee, that we would be better going to the Bannockburn Responsible Development Group.
Rebecca's waiting.
Yes, Rebecca.
I suspect for Bannockburn it's useful to have connections to those ones in case they do fuck.
do we have
They
a
don't, I emailed them
and anybody that's in.
frequently in the last, and
But
I
reserves
didn't,
out, so
yeah.
they might want to be involved.
So can we have a Bannockburn person? Can we have a Bannockburn person though, who can liaise with the different, just like we've got two, Terrace, would you want two Bannockburn people, then do you want me to come and join you at Bannockburn? Okay.
Calling it Bannockburn Community
You're
Liaison.
gonna wait a long time and coffee at the Black Rabbit, so back to that.
Take your coffee with you.
Go up, suck it up. Don't got a Monday.
I think you just frame it so that it's the Bannockburn liaison person.
Bannockburn Community Liaison,
And covering these.
yeah. Yeah, and just put another bullet point underneath, that's
So
like
should we create one?
community
So Wally
centre
is-
management.
Since we have a nice Morris community liaison.
Right.
And also Mount Pfizer community liaison.
Who are you liaising with?
Don't know yet. Or my grumpy neighbours. There's only 6 of them.
I'll take the other 500.
Okay, so, Cromwell District Museum, I've done that, and I'm happy to continue being their liaison person. They're happy to have me. So that works quite well.
I'm the sports wanted trustee and I'm happy to stay there. Pretty happy with that. How does that work? I didn't want them. You really want the second?
Yes. Yeah, we appoint them. They're not necessarily us from
No,
this,
I
but
know I want. I don't think.
no, we're just appointed them. They're not usually necessarily elected members.
Do we have someone down for the promotions group? Bob was going last
Bob
year.
was our promotions group man.
I'd be quite happy to handle that one.
Okay, and we've now, you're also on
You're
the
District Trust.
Cromwell and Districts Trust.
Yeah.
But add that into the.
Just like
Cromwell and Districts Community Trust, and get the name right, don't we?
CDC.
Right. Yeah, can you give us a list that we made?
so,
I think I'm only down for one.
We'll have to remedy that, won't we?
the youth trust already done this.
Youth Trust, that's on the Youth Trust, you've got young children.
Yeah.
My daughter uses the Hangout all the time, assuming that is the youth trust.
Yeah.
So if you need backup there or.
Yeah.
Are your kids in the Hangout yet?
No, they're a bit young yet, aren't they?
Hmm.
You're not got a college
No college kids.
person yet.
Do you want me to take, it might be more relevant because my daughter's there every day, just about. She'd like me to take one.
Yep.
I do. What else was it, you but I was for the last term, and when David was part of it, I did it, and then they dropped off completely. They're rebuilding now, but
Yeah, in their
yeah,
communication.
Yeah.
more than one wouldn't be harmful. You can sign up and help.
Let's go together, Wally.
Yeah.
But they're running fast at the moment. You can go and join them.
Okay. Yeah, true, that's the.
Old Cromwell Incorporated,
Oh, well.
yeah. You know Helen and the, for definitely everyone, yeah.
Yeah.
So the only other one that would be the Cromwell Resource Centre Trust. Cheryl was the person appointed by us to there, so I don't think we probably need to change that. So it's again like the
councillor, so fit, isn't it? So
yeah, absolutely.
she's happy there.
All right, can you put up our new list in case we've missed somebody again? Pardon? Oh, that's been Neil. Yeah, it's just a reduction of people sitting around the table. Yeah. Sorry, Cromwell and Districts Promotions Group and the Cromwell and Districts Community Trust. We've got that up, yeah. They're two separate things, so put it back in, but they're both marked.
Do we have contact details for the secretary and the chairperson of these groups for?
They're mostly generic emails.
Yeah, so Sarah will email them to let them know that you're their liaison.
Okay.
And then we will try and make sure we've got a contact then.
It's worth be great to get that
refreshed CC.
Yeah, I'm going to CC us into that email. That's great.
Yes, we can get it refreshed. Really good turn up, so.
Yeah.
I sweet.
Can we put it up so we can see? Okay, so we've got Cromwell and Districts Community Trust and the Cromwell and Districts Promotions Group are both Mike. Cromwell District Museum, Anna. Youth Trust, Mike and Wally. Old Cromwell, Rebecca. Lowburn, Wally. Terrace, Rebecca and Sarah. And Bannockburn, Rebecca and Anna. And
That's right, please.
And see,
we note that these organisations, we appoint people, but that we're not necessarily the people who sit on them. Yeah.
So sorry, it's just something with Cheryl's already in place, so we're not really.
No, she's already in place. We're not actually changing anything there. She is the trustee.
and I'm supposed to trust that me, you know.
Yeah, but you're already there. Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Do we need to update anything on the resolution?
Sorry, I just need to get clear. I'm actually the secretary of the Common College Charitable Trust.
That's okay. We don't have anything to do with them. We just, when it rolls, no, well, we actually need to put it on your on your watchman calls it.
Yeah.
Conflicts. Declarations of interest. But we don't, generally have any say in anything. Do you want some more? Oh, Friends of Problem Cemetery. Well, I'm a bit concerned you've got rather a lot.
Yeah, but the Friends in the Cemetery called him anyway, so
Yeah.
we just, it's just easier this way.
And I'm Michael, I'm a bit concerned you've got rather a lot too.
Right, taking off the
Very well.
youth trust, I'll let Molly handle that one. I've got two. I quite like the idea of promoting Cromwell. I was pretty passionate about that.
We'll all medal in this area.
Okay, I'm over in a second that those are the appointments made. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got me. Oh, yeah.
Well done, super fast.
I got self-conscious on the last minute. So
Oh, did you?
I was sitting there,
Is it that
so now I'm just keeping my hand down.
For a whole meeting. Okay. We have no mayor's report today because we don't have the mayor present. Oh, didn't do the all in favour. All in favour?
Bye.
Thank you. Chair's report is very brief because most of my time has been in the setup for a different board, my school board, getting ready for the beginning of the school year. I have had some meetings with Peter and the CLEC team out at the racecourse and one here to talk about his wheels proposal and to see if there was agreement that could be reached between the two parties. Seemed to be there. And I have, of course, spoken with Shane on Radio Central on Friday mornings to talk about football and anything that might be going on in over those weekends.
Do you have a regular radio slot?
I do.
How do you not know that?
At 7:45 on Friday mornings. And I did attend the classic car show down at Cromwell, which is very much on my family's calendar each year.
We'll have our cars next year.
We'll have our cars in there next year. We will. That is,
Along with my name.
yeah, okay. I will have, what are you taking down there next time, Molly?
A Zephyr if it goes.
A Zephyr if it goes. Craig will have his 61 Dodge Pioneer and I'll have my 73 Mini. And our grandson, his favourite vehicle on the drive-by was the Woolworths truck.
Good.
Also.
What about the diesel Santa Fe? How would that go?
No.
That would be perfect. That's it, that's all I've got. Thank you. Moving a second back for my report, please.
Yep.
And we will go this way this time. Your first members' reports.
Right. December was full of prize givings and end of year celebrations for our own family, and it filled my bucket to see so much being celebrated and recognised in a little rural area. We definitely punch above our weight. It's nice to see how well we're doing and how those kids are being supported in a community like ours. Council December meeting seems a long time ago now. But was full of lots of similarities from our wards across others. Roxborough going through their own ward rebuild process and currently investigating the site, whether a rebuild on site or elsewhere is the best option, and then also what they want to build. It goes where we were a few years ago. Let's hope they get there quicker than we did. Alexandra Central Point Mall are experiencing their own lifted ground issues with trees that are planted around there. So that came up. And the draft parks and reserves bylaw was agreed that will go for consultation. So that's green spaces around here. The January meeting, we heard from Peter Newport from Crocs in the public forum on the benefits and possibilities of outsourcing some of our media engagement to them. Pros and cons of media. Leave that there. Te Korowai presented their evaluation report, which is very encouraging in its recognition of good engagement and community interaction. It's official, it's not just what we think of ourselves. We acknowledge that we're still learning and growing, but I think the report was actually really positive and we should be really proud of that. And that's across commissioners and council, that's staff, everything. So it's actually a really good report. The Santana MGL Mine Fast Track application, we considered our nomination to the panel for the Fast Track panel there. We had nominated former councillor Gillespie as what we deem to be our most expert in the field in general. However, it's been indicated that perhaps he would not be a suitable selection, and ORC weren't overly happy with that. So we changed our nomination and have put forward Gary Ray, who's a very experienced hearing panel chair and commissioner with extensive knowledge of Central Otago. So he's now a recommendation, and we hope that if that recommendation is taken on board and Judge Walter takes that on, then he will be somebody who is very capable of supporting.
So was Councillor Gillespie's nomination turned down because he's now ORC? It
wasn't turned down. It was suggested. It was indicated to us that it may not have been enough for Neil. Neil didn't have quite the suite of what they were looking for such a small panel that is such a huge raft of high level expertise in really particular areas. Absolutely. Difficult, but like we only get one chance to nominate, so nominating somebody that we've already had indicated is not necessarily likely to be chosen. It was brilliant to have a look around. Still may not be, but yeah. Gary will be a really, excellent person. He knows Central Otago really well. So he's been here a lot, sat on the hearings panel a lot. So he's a good choice if they go that way. Council has been involved in ongoing negotiations with Santana and MGL over a road access agreement. And just like to make it quite clear, as did the Mayor and Peter and several news outlets, that this is not an endorsement from council of the mine or its activity. It is us acting as a landowner and reaching an agreement over access. And the agreement was made with potential rates, capital limitations in mind, and ever increasing cost burden in our ratepayers, that we spent a lot of time and energy on this. As a whole council, we were very involved, certainly not something Peter has done on his own. We put a lot of energy into this, and Peter, and we really were looking at the